EVO. Welcome back to the Devil's Ledger for the week of March 30th. And before we get into anything, just a quick reminder, don't fall for any April Fool's Day hijinks this week. Because in a world already full of misinformation, staged chaos, and things that feel fake but aren't, we don't need any extra help getting confused. All right, got that out of the way. So let's start where we always do, with the creepiest thing I heard this week. Now, better late than never, mea culpa, because it's happening right now, but there's something happening in Austin, and it doesn't feel like a festival. It feels like a gathering, not of fans, not of hobbyists, but of people who've seen something and never quite come back the same. It's called Strange and Extraordinary Fest, and on paper, it sounds almost harmless. A one-day event, panels, speakers, marketplace, a celebration of the paranormal, UFOs, cryptids, the usual suspects. But the more you look at it, the stranger it gets. Because this isn't just storytelling, it's convergence. People from completely different corners of the unknown, paranormal investigators, UFO researchers, cryptid hunters, all showing up in the same place. And with stories that on the surface shouldn't connect. And yet they do. You'll hear about haunted frontiers, places where something followed people home and never left. You'll hear about lights in the sky that didn't behave like aircraft or anything that we've ever built. You'll hear about creatures that shouldn't exist, but somehow keep being described the same way by people who've never met. Different stories, same patterns. And then there are the people themselves. They're not performers, they're not entertainers. They're witnesses. People who speak carefully, who choose their words like they matter because to them, they do. What makes this unsettling isn't the topics, it's the overlap. The quiet suggestion that these aren't separate mysteries at all, but fragments of something larger, something that we don't fully understand yet. Because when enough stories start to line up, when enough people, independent, rational, grounded people, when they start describing the same impossible things, at what point does unexplained become something else? Strange and Extraordinary Fest doesn't claim to have answers. It doesn't try to resolve anything. It just brings the stories together. And it lets them sit there, side by side. Which raises a question that's harder to shake than any ghost story. What if the reason these stories bring people together is because on some level, we already know that they're real? Or at least, real enough. Strange and Extraordinary Fest, Austin. Yes, it's today, Saturday, but check them out online. Maybe subscribe to their newsletter, get a t-shirt, and maybe go next year. I'll see you there. On The Devil Within, this week we begin a new series, and it's one of those stories that sits right on the line between folklore and documented reality. It's the Pope Lick Monster. For nearly 80 years, reports have circulated out of Kentucky about a creature described as a 9-foot-tall, horned demon, something not quite human and not quite animal. And it's a thing that waits and calls to you. Witnesses claim it can mimic the voices of friends, family, loved ones, drawing people out onto a narrow railroad trestle. And once you're out there, there's nowhere to go. There's no room to run, there's no time to think, just the sound of a train coming through the dark. And here's the part that makes this more than just a campfire story. There are documented deaths tied to that bridge. Real people, real incidents. Whether the monster's real or something else entirely, that outcome has been the same. On the Ides of April, we also begin a new series, this one on the assassination of Anwar Sadat, a man shaped by war, a leader who spent his life in conflict only to pivot toward peace in one of the most consequential political moves of the 20th century. And for that, he paid the ultimate price. From battlefield to Nobel Peace Prize, from sworn enemies to uneasy allies, this is a story about transformation and the cost of it. On Criminal Mischief, Carolyn Osorio continues her deep dive into Hollywood, the Seattle bank robber who somehow turned crime into performance, disguises, charm, and a willingness to put himself directly in harm's way. He didn't just rob banks, he captivated people. And as the series continues, the line between audacity and inevitability starts to blur. And listen, if you're not already following Finding Me with Josh Wolf, you need to. 60 episodes in, and something's starting to happen. You can feel it. Josh has found his rhythm. It's a daily cadence. And what you're watching isn't a finished product. It's a process. It's a rare, vulnerable look at someone actively trying to change in real time. You'll be happy you tuned in. This week in horror, something very bad is going to happen. It's a new horror series from Haley Z. Boston with Netflix and executive production from the Duffer Brothers. Starring Camilla Maroney and Adam DeMarco, the story follows an engaged couple whose wedding begins to unravel in ways that feel off. Not chaotic, not random, intentional. Like something is moving just beneath the surface. It premiered March 26th, and early buzz suggests that this is one that builds slowly and then doesn't let go. Please make sure you're following all of these shows on Apple Podcasts, Spotify, or wherever you're listening right now. Subscribe to us on YouTube. The network's growing, and it's because of you. You can search our social handles at The Devil Within Pod, at The Ides of April Pod, at taboo_treasures. On YouTube, we're EVO Creative, and our website is evocreative.com. So if something in this episode stayed with you, share it, because every week we pull back the curtain just a little bit further. Have a productive and safe week, and we'll see you across the EVO universe. The Devil's Ledger is an EVO production recorded live at Bel Air Studios in Los Angeles, California. For The Devil's Ledger, I'm your writer and host, Brandon Morgan.